Hey guys, we are back in the workshop. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on for those that might be with us tonight, and give everybody a second real quick. And I think I'm going to use my knee pad since I'm working a different piece. I did get the nursery set. My tripod has been acting up on me, and I'm hoping it won't jump off and kamikaze my phone onto the floor, because sometimes that happens. It just jumps off. It did in the last video we were live. So I'm worried that might happen, so I might ought to put a little barrier on the floor here in case my phone does decide to make a nosedive. Let's hope that it doesn't, but you never know. So the Boy Scout motto, what is that? Always be prepared. So that's the deal. Always be prepared. So I'm going to give everybody a second or two to jump on. It is Thursday evening. It's 8 o'clock, and we always come live if we can, if everything's going well. You guys let us know if you're here. So I am just going to see if I can swipe this one way or another. I can't remember which way it's supposed to be. I can't remember which way it is, if I can see if anybody's here or not. So I'll give it a few minutes since we are starting something new tonight. So, yay, got the other two pieces done. If you are new here, welcome to our page, or welcome to our kind of a 101 workshops that we do here in the workshop every Tuesday, Thursday, 8 o'clock. My name is Kimberly, and we are in Kernersville, North Carolina, and we are Dixie Belle, premier retailer for them. And so we try to come and show you guys from beginning to end on most every piece we start. If you guys were with us this past Tuesday, we were working on the nursery bedroom set. So we do have that over. It's moved over now. It's curing. We will be staging that and getting those pictures out for you guys tomorrow. And I can't tell if anybody's here with me yet. I don't know which way it's supposed to be, so I slid it back this way just in case. So tonight I am actually starting this French provincial server. That's a Thomasville, I believe. Thomasville French provincial server. Yes, Thomasville. And we are going to clean this bad boy, so we're going to go to the basics. I always go to the basics. Putting my gloves on because I am working with our White Lightning cleaner. This is a powder cleaner. It is by Dixie Belle, of course, because that's who we represent, if you will. And so I have a couple of items here. I have the White Lightning cleaner. Now this bottle of cleaner will last you a very, very, very long time. So we only use I'm using this water bottle. I did mix it with warm water before we came on our broadcast, and I did put half a teaspoon in this little bottle. So I mixed it a little strong, and the reason I mix it a little strong, you can see this has a little bit of sheen to it. So there's two possibilities. When I go to clean this, our White Lightning cleaner also acts as a deglosser. If this were a laminate on here, I'm pretty sure this is mostly wood and not a laminate. But had this be a laminate on the top, you could come in here with your slick stick. So I'm debating whether I'll put slick stick on the very top of this. The reason being is it does help you give your slick surfaces something to adhere to. Helps your paint adhere to your slick surfaces. But I never put my slick stick on, or my boss, or anything like that, or my paint, until I clean my piece first. So that's where our White Lightning cleaner comes in handy. So this is what I'm using tonight. This will last you several months at cleaning furniture. So this is what I use. It's a deglosser. It also is a degreaser. It takes the Pledge, Old English, or anything like that, and dirt as well. Anything that might be on your piece, it will take it off. And sometimes you'll get pieces like this and they've been dusted for many, many years, obviously. It's a Thomasville, it's a French Provincial Thomasville server. So you know it's been dusted in its day, and it's probably been sprayed with Pledge, Swiffer, Old English, any of those kind of dusting products. And so, of course, I'm going to come in with the cleaner and I'm going to clean all of that off if I'm going to paint my piece, which obviously I'm going to paint this piece. So I also have my oval medium brush here, and I used my little applicator there when I was working on that other piece today. So I've just got me a clean cloth that I am going to use to degrease it, depledge it, if you will. So this is, I've not done anything to this piece. This is the way I received it. So I'm going to come in here, and I always give it a very heavy amount of my White Lightning cleaner. That's what's in this bottle. So it's a mixed product. It's a product where you've got 1 part cleaner and however many parts water, depending on the size of your container. So I'm going to use this to come in here and clean this piece off. So I always get in on my hands and knees and come in here and clean this. It looks really shiny when it's clean. So I'm just going to come in here, and of course it's damp outside and still from the weather we've been having. However, we did have a dry day today. It was windy, but it's still sort of damp in this area. So and in my workshop, it's just cool and damp. So a lot of times that'll cause your cure times to be a little bit different than when it's, you know, warm and sunny and been hot outside. So thankfully I can just kind of pull this around. It is on wheels. This one happens to be on wheels, which is nice. And it's a French Provincial. So I'm just going to come in here and just kind of, this is how I prep my pieces. So I definitely want to come in here and use my cleaner, and I want to rub it in all the little nooks and crannies on this piece, because it has several curved lines. It's a very pretty piece, just the way it is. And I'm always moving on to something different. And I really wanted to paint something very springified. That we've had such warm weather in Carolina, and then today it comes back to some cool wind blowing in. And this is the original hardware on this piece, which will be beautiful. I know, don't say it right, painted. But yes, I'm going to say it. The hardware will be beautiful painted. And I know a lot of people, they don't like to paint their hardware. It's just kind of a signature thing of mine. We all do our own work, and we all do it a little differently. So it's just kind of a signature of mine. I always paint my hardware, which I know sounds odd, but it really will make this piece look so much more, I want to say, it'll make it look a lot more Victorian. It'll give it a much more Victorian feel, or French country cottage feel. So, I mean, you can blend the two. They're very similar. So you're just gonna see me take my cleaner, which is in this little mist bottle. This is just a little reptile mist bottle that I have. And I use these in a lot of our workshops and everything. So I'm just gonna probably end up going out of your view a little bit, maybe not if I can get back far enough. But I'm gonna make sure that I am spraying and cleaning this piece, because all in the little grooves. So I let my cleaner get in these grooves, because that's where your wax and your pledge and things of that nature might get in there and want to stay. So I want to get it and get it off if it's in my piece or on my piece. And of course on this one, because it's we will have to clean it all the way around. It's got these cute little wooden pieces that just kind of slide in. So I want to clean all around that. So I always try to come and broadcast each individual piece we start on. So that's why I am showing you guys this one, because I like to go from start to finish on all of our pieces when we do our broadcast. So this is the legs and wheels. So I'm just going to try and spin it around here, and I'm just going to clean it and turn it so maybe you guys see a little better. Of course, these knee pads are supposed to be on my knees, and I'm so used. I'm sorry for the squeak. And again, I'm generously spraying this. I want it to get in all those grooves. It's really a pretty piece, and I know a lot of people would be freaking out for it to be painted. Plus, not everybody likes painted furniture. I sell a lot of it, but not everybody's. Not everybody's cup of tea. So some of these little pieces. Now I did one for a lady in Charlotte that came up from Charlotte with one, and so that was painted. So you can use these for multiple things. You could make, obviously it's a tea cart or cart. I made that particular one into a wine cart, and to serve as a server. So you can use these as a little island. This one being on wheels would be kind of nice. It's narrow, however. But I'm also cleaning it in case there's any smoke on here. Let me see who's with you. Hey, how are you tonight? Hey, Deanna, I believe it is, right, Deanna? Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you for watching. I am just cleaning this French Provincial syrup and getting it ready for paint. And any paint color suggestions out there. The last I did in a gray, and it was like a gunmetal gray, kind of like the gravel road maybe. I did it in that darker color, and what I did on the top, I really did a different design on the top of that one, where I made it kind of more masculine, I guess, is what I was going for with that one. And the young lady, I don't know if she was buying it for her husband or what, but anyway, we ended up doing that one that way. So I've done a couple that you turn like into a beverage cart for coffee, something of that nature, which would be cute. It'd be cute as that. I really like the beverage cart that I did before, because I liked it because it was a kind of like a liquor cabinet, wine cellar, and all of that in one. So it was kind of cool to do. And because we're here in North Carolina, we do things a little bit differently versus in some of the other, or I should say in the U.S. versus in some of the other countries, where a tea cart actually is used for tea. I have some family and friends that are from Jamaica, and they are very tea-oriented people, obviously, from the islands. So they would use it for that. Bring it on around, make sure that I've gotten all of my areas. Just want to make sure that I have no pledge or Old English. And you can see it's kind of taking the shine down a little on this piece. So it's also working as a natural deglosser. This is the White Lightning cleaner that I am demoing on this piece and cleaning all around the feet, in all the carvings and in all the grooves. And you can tell the difference. It's kind of deglossed and de-shined, if you will, the piece for painting. So when it dries, you'll be able to tell a big difference on the gloss and the shine because it's a deglosser, as well as a cleaner, as well as, you know, taking any tobacco, smoke, or stain, or any of that kind of thing off of it. Take that off as well. It'll take some paint off if you have specks of paint on your piece. So it's a really great cleaner, and like I said, I mix mine stronger just so that it will actually work a little bit better. So this is how what is on your piece before you paint. So this is why we clean it. Always, 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 always clean your piece. If you use our cleaner, which is our white cleaner, or if you're old school and you just want to use vinegar and water, 50, you know, that'll work too. I don't know how well vinegar water works as far as a deglosser goes. It'll definitely clean it if that's your preference. And you can even see the difference on the hardware, how it's taking the what I want to say, the corrosion, if you will, off the hardware. I'm just going to spray the hardware just to show you. This is the cleaner. And you can see I'm not doing anything other than rubbing that cleaner in. And look how the hardware is coming back to life. Now, if you wanted to keep, you know, the original, this is a good way to do it. Also a good way to clean your hardware if you're really wanting to clean your hardware, which I'm cleaning it, but I'm notorious for painting it. You can also use the Barkeeper's Friend. It does really, really well. The liquid Barkeeper's Friend, but you can see how that has cleaned this. So anything that had fallen in between, you know, this is real vintage. So in between all these little nooks, that's where a lot of your wax would hang if you had cleaned this with Pledge or Old English. So, but you can see the difference of the hardware just from it being cleaned and how that cleaner works on that hardware. And that's not really, I'm not going to do my hardware that way, obviously, but I'm going to do it just so you guys can see how well it cleans it. You could almost get by, if you were inclined, to just clean your hardware. That's just with the White Lightning cleaner. So you can see how it does take that down. You can deglossed it now that it's kind of sat a little bit and had a chance to dry. But still, I focus on the legs really well, in all the little grooves. This one will be relatively easy. There's no repairs, obviously. This is a perfect piece, if you will, to be working on. Hey, Terry, how are you tonight? Working on this provincial server, and I'm cleaning it up and getting ready to paint. Any ideas on color, you guys? What's your thoughts? So I'm going to do underneath here too, because when you paint under here, when the sides are folded down, and that's just a little wooden lever, when the sides are folded, you'll be able to see the sides through the sides, so you're going to have to paint that if you're painting this piece. So just bear that in mind if you're like mine. got to get on here with you guys when we all have a like-minded piece and we can all kind of paint together. I've had lots of people ask if we did kits and could we all go live at the same time. I'm trying to work that. Need to figure out how to get that rolling so we all can do little projects together. Grab this, roll this around. This one's on wheels, which really makes it easy. Pull it. It's a good solid piece. Little Thomasville. You know, this would be cute in like an entryway as well if you wanted to use it for something like that. The little drawers, it's got cute little drawers. You see how wide they are. They're thin little drawers, super, super cute. They come out like this. And so they're really cute. So it'll really be a cute little cart. So again, I always want to make sure that in all the grooves, this is my very first process. Even Terry, she's done a few pieces with me. She can tell you, we always start with a clean piece before we begin anything. I'm notorious for that. I try not to ever skip. I'm not a skipper. I just do all the required steps, even though it takes you a little bit of time. Now you can see here there's a few scuffed areas on this. I'm not really too deeply concerned about that. It's not something that I really need to hit. Pretty much when we put our paint on this, it's very self-leveling. I'm thinking you probably won't see it. Most of the time, if you can feel it, you might see it. That's what I normally tell people. If you can't feel it, I've got gloves on. If you can't feel it, you're not going to see it. If you can't feel it, you're not going to see it with your eye. If you do feel it with your fingers, then you're going to see it. So, and if it's super fine like this, this would be something you could use the Dixie Belle on. So if you do find that you have a few places that you feel, sometimes you can sand it ever so slightly and you'll pretty much knock it down. These are not gouges or anything, so it's nothing that I'm overly concerned with. You guys know I don't try to hide the character of the piece. I just try to repair if there's anything that's an issue. This one, it doesn't have any issues with it. It might have some character bumps on it, and that's not something I'm going to try and get rid of or hide in my piece. Obviously, not a brand new piece, vintage, and I want it to still have some of that character in it. So I've pretty much cleaned it all around. You guys know I just showed you the White Lightning cleaner. That's what's in my bottle. It comes in a, let me grab it here. It comes in a powder form. So this would last you several months if you're painting like I do, and it would last you several months. And I do it pretty much every day. I think in the whole time that I have been furniture, I may have used 3 of these in the time that I've been doing that. So that's how far that goes. It's not something that you're going to right through, because you do mix it with water. I mix it with warm water, and I'm just going to kind of clean up what's here under where I have sprayed my floor. My poor floor. Now I do have a laminate piece that I got from Lowe's. It is, I think it's might have been a $25 piece of laminate, and I have it on the floor in my workspace so that if anything gets on, it gets on it. And it's water-based paint, so you can, yet it's not on the floor in our garage. So I try not to get a bunch of paint all over the place. I try to contain my issues, if you will, when I'm working on this. So you can tell by looking at this piece, I think you guys can see that there on the airwaves as much as I can, that it's definitely deglossed my piece. It's definitely not as shiny as I began, and that's what I want. So this is how I'm evaluating whether or not that I'm going to bring it on board, or whether I feel confident enough that I don't need the slick stick. Now, like I say, it is damp in here, and if you were thinking, if it was a laminate top on here, then you would probably chime in with your slick stick and put that on. And some would even put it on and use it as a primer coat. It's not necessary. It's not always necessary, let's say that. But in some cases, you might want to use it just as a primer coat. And especially on pieces where this truly was a piece of Formica laminate. That is not what's on this, because this is a Thomasville. So just by evaluating, sort of just like if we were doing a workshop at Habitat and we were doing a bring your own piece night, these are the exact same steps I take in those classes, and this is how we begin. We always begin with a piece. We clean it, we assess it, we clean it, we decide whether or not we need to do any sanding, we decide whether or not we need to put a slick stick coat on it because of the laminate top and things of that nature. Is very similar to a workshop that we would be doing on a bring your own piece. On a workshop like that, I wouldn't suggest bringing something that you have to put that on, because most of the time those are not for, if you will, they consider these problem solvers. And obviously if you're in a beginner workshop class, you don't want to be having to deal with solving issues like that, and because it will be time constraint and we wouldn't be able to get through the entire class. So if you are bringing something to a workshop, something obviously the size of a nightstand or something that works perfect, something that's all wood, something that we can just kind of on and get the basics out there, so you can feel confident to go home and maybe paint something that's a little bit more challenging. So just so you guys know, if you're out there, you're watching this video when we share this, we will obviously share our video out there, so others can get the gist of how our different products and what we offer in those workshops. So just kind of give you guys that rundown. And so that's pretty much what I do at the very beginning of every piece of furniture that I bring in. I always clean them up, and you can tell, like I said, you can tell using that that it has taken the shine down. It's knocked the shine off my piece, which is what I wanted it to do. And you can always count on it to do a good job on taking that shine off and getting down to the real part of your piece. But after working with it and cleaning it, and I always tell everyone, when you're cleaning your piece, that always gives you the opportunity to kind of get a feel for your piece. It kind of, then the piece, to me anyway, I feel like when you're cleaning your piece, you're assessing it, you're getting ideas, you're getting to feel for the legs, the curves, everything that's going on with this piece, and it just kind of helps me evolve into an idea of how I want to paint the piece. So to me, it's a time when I get to know my piece. I look over it, I roll it around, I find any flaws, anything like that. I assess the hardware and start thinking, getting my ball rolling, if you will, on where I want to go with this piece. What would work with this piece? What colors are going to work with this piece? Do I want to work a transfer on this piece? You know, this piece has a character going on for it. It's got beautiful hardware going on. It's got all these perfect curves. It's very feminine to me. And so if I do a transfer or anything like that, I wouldn't want to draw away from its natural beauty. So I try to be real careful about that when I'm assessing a piece and where I'm wanting to go with it. I start thinking about my client and perhaps how my client's going to use it, stage it, nature. A lot of times my furniture will be purchased, painted for a stage prop, and so I try to think of those opportunities. So if someone is staging a home for sale in the realty world, then I try to think neutrals or and maybe even a pop where this might be a standout piece somewhere. So all those things just sort of rolling through your head while you're cleaning your piece, while you're in here vacuuming out the insides and making sure that it's all clean and everything looks nice in each piece. So and even on the bottom, you know, to make sure underneath that there's no cobwebs and spider webs and all that fun junk that get on these older pieces where we go and find and pick up them. I'm also thinking about, because it is on wheels, that, you know, obviously you're going to want to be careful down here around the wheels. You want to paint the, I don't know if you guys can see that on this. I know my tripod is on the brink. So you can see here, I'll bring it down. You can see the French Provincial leg here. You can see the cool little wheel on that. Maybe you guys can see that. So this piece has a lot of character and a lot of beauty to it. So when I think what I want to do to it, I don't want to overpower it with anything. So I'm really thinking, obviously it's a French Provincial, and Terry will understand this. So I'm thinking about a couple of pieces I've had in my workshop before that and the less I did to it, the better I liked it. Go figure. So obviously I'm going to have to let it and dry a little bit because it is still damp in here, and you can tell that it took the sheen down, the shine off the top. Now, had this not knocked the shine down like in here, I know it seems a little glossy on there, but in here it really is kind of a matte finish now versus the way it was when we started. Had it not done that, then I would be considering my slick stick just as a bonding agent for my paint between my slick surface and my paint. Since it does, to me, look very deglossed, which is not something I'm going to have to use. So I'm probably going to be able to go straight to painting this, and most likely I am going to paint this in a more French cottage, because it's just so beautiful with such intricate lines and detail on it that I just wouldn't want to overpower it or hide its beauty. So those are the things that I kind of look for when I am assessing a piece. Beautiful, gorgeous hardware, which is just going to stand out when I work with this piece. And the hardest part about this entire job is not cleaning it, not running and picking it up, getting it home, unloading it, even though that's all a bear. Times dealing with the people you're getting it from and hauling it back and forth if you do like me and you do it all by yourself. And then you finally get them home and you finally been stored, you know, waiting its turn in line, and you finally get to it. All is nothing compared to deciding on the color, in my humble opinion, because Dixie Belle does not make it easy for us. They have 64 beautiful colors, and even on color. So that's when I like to just kind of step back from my piece. Now that I've cleaned it, I've assessed it, I've got a feel for it. Now getting in my head, the French cottage feel is with this piece, and so now is where you decide your color. So there's multiple colors you can go with on this. Obviously, Vintage Duck Egg is classic, it's beautiful, and not a lot of risk involved. It's a good blend color. The Haint Blue is an awesome color as well that would really rock the French Provincial style. You've got lots of colors to in the neutrals. Obviously our grays. I just did this set behind us in the Manatee Gray, which was stunning. It turns out perfectly. And then you still have all of your neutral whites. You've got your fluff, you've got your cotton. What I lean toward on a couple of pieces that I did, the one I know Miss Terry will agree with, it was a very cottage feel, and it was a sandbar. I believe it was sandbar that I used. I used multiple colors. So what I did is I did a solid color in sandbar, and then came in and dry brushed it with our drop cloth, and it gave it a very French country feel. So I'm leaning toward that with this piece, but you never know with me, and I've got a plethora of paint to decide with. So, that'll be my next chore, is deciding what color I'll go with. But since it's still damp in here, hey Tommy, since it's still damp in here, I will give it the opportunity to completely dry and give myself a little bit more time. We've come here, we've cleaned this piece. We have gotten a new start, obviously, on a new piece. This is a French server by Thomasville. We just cleaned it with our White Lightning cleaner. Tommy, and you're on. We added this cleaner to some water. It's a two-part mix, or really a 1 part to 4 parts, depending on what water size water bottle you're using. And this amount of cleaner will last you for a very, very long time. Excuse me. And we have been just cleaning and deglossing. That cleaner does work as a deglosser as well. You can see it took a lot of the tarnish off the hardware. However, I'll be painting. So this is just a prep to get started for this next piece. So I'm going to let it sit here. I'm going to let it dry up a little bit and take a poll on colors. So you guys, in the comments, just throw out what color you think this would look really nice in. So it is on wheels. It is a little server, and it's just cute as a button. So I'm going to let you guys shoot some comments to us below. I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. If you're interested in getting in on any of those workshops up at Habitat, we have 2 floating right now. We have 1 coming up very soon. I believe it's next weekend, Saturday from 2 to 6 or 2 to 4. Probably will take 2 to 6 depending on what shows up over there. And I might even should haul this over there and work on it to show you guys, so people about it and how we assessed it here tonight. But shop, and we also have another one on 22nd of February that is a bring your own piece. I do suggest bringing a piece not quite as large as obviously, maybe half this size, being a little end table or a nightstand or a picture frame or a small mirror frame, something of that nature, so that we can go over the basics and kind of move along in the class, so you guys can get an idea and go home and feel confident painting those pieces of your own. I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to let y'all have a good evening. We will see you again on Tuesday night, and look forward to seeing some of you guys out at that workshop. And I hope y'all have a blessed evening. We thank you so much for joining us this evening. We thank you for being a part of our workshops and our 101s from start to finish. And I'm going to sign off for now. Hope y'all have a blessed evening and a blessed weekend. Bye. Thank you for viewing. Bye-bye.